Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Shireen Bhan. The headlines we're tracking for you this evening. Crude oil prices surge as OPEC nations announce a surprise production cut. Saudi Arabia calls it a precautionary measure to stabilize the market. The White House says the cuts are not advisable. Analysts expect oil prices to touch $100 per barrel by the end of the year. The head of the Gas Price Committee, Kirit Parikh, tells CNBC-TV18 he's hopeful of the cabinet clearing most of the recommendations soon. The proposals are set to bring the price of gas lower. A last-hour recovery helps the sensex and the nifty end in the green. Financial stocks lead the rally. Mid-caps outperform blue chips. Auto sales in March threw up a mixed bag. India's top car maker Maruti Suzuki sounds a note of caution, warns of red flags that can impact demand. A ray of hope for two-wheelers as domestic sales continue to see double-digit growth. Fast food chain McDonald's is temporarily closing its corporate offices in the US as it prepares for layoffs and a broader restructuring. European banking giant UBS is set to cut about 30% of its workforce after taking over the embattled lender Credit Suisse. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi challenges his conviction in a defamation case before a Surat court. Sessions Court grants him bail, sets April 13th as the next date for the bail hearing. The Ukrainian army says Russia is very far from capturing Bakhmut. This after a video showed a group of mercenaries raising the Russian flag at the city center. Meanwhile, the Russian police arrest a woman suspected of delivering a bomb that killed a prominent pro-Kremlin blogger. And Jio Cinema reports a blockbuster opening for the Indian Premier League. The app saw more than 5 crore downloads with more than 147 crore video views. The opening weekend alone is bigger than the entire 2022 IPL season on digital. Well, the top story this evening, oil prices surging 8% in early trade after the OPEC Plus nations announced a cut of output by more than 1 billion barrels per day. Saudi Arabia said the surprise move was a precautionary measure targeted towards stabilizing the oil market. This comes on the back of Russia's decision to trim oil production by 500,000 barrels a day till the end of the year. The United States has criticized the move. A spokesperson for the National Security Council said, and I quote, "We don't think the cuts are advisable at this moment given the market uncertainty, and we've made that clear," end of quote. US President Joe Biden has repeatedly lambasted the group for its production cuts, citing rising inflation and accusing the group of camaraderie with Russia. Higher oil prices will help fill Russia's coffers and bolster its war efforts in Ukraine. Manisha's here with more on the cut in production and the impact on oil prices. Manisha.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, that's right. The oil prices did surge after the OPEC and allies announced surprise production cuts. Let's take a look at how the prices have fared in the month of March. Oil prices actually fell 5% in March, hit a 15-month lows of $70 a barrel, and the fall in crude prices could have been the reason that prompted the OPEC and allies to cut production. Well, the group trimmed production by 1.16 million barrels a day. The Saudi Arabia is calling this a move to precautionary measure in a bid to support oil market stability. The cuts, which will start in the month of May this year, will continue till the end of 2023. Russia and Saudi Arabia will cut production by nearly 500,000 barrels per day, while UAE, Kuwait and Iraq will cut production by anywhere between 200,000 to 100,000 or even lower for some of those countries. The OPEC's volume cuts now with all of this stands at 3.6 million barrels per day, which accounts for 3.7% of the global demand. The OPEC has cited an export halt from Turkey, the rebound in Chinese demand, the slowing U.S. inflation and the high U.S. crude production in the month of March as a reason for the volatility in crude oil prices. So the big question is on where are the crude oil prices headed by the end of this year. We have Goldman Sachs report coming over the weekend which says that the prices are headed to $100 a barrel. A similar report from JP Morgan also says that $96 a barrel is where they are expecting the crude oil prices to end this year at. CMC Markets and Energy Aspects see the crude oil prices going to $100 a barrel as well. And then you have ING quoting prices at 90, Vanda Insights at 80, 85 and Refinitiv talking about $80 a barrel as well is where the crude prices could be before we end this year.
I'm not substantially revising my expectations for this year. As I've been saying, last year, Brent averaged around $100 a barrel. For this year in 2023, I'm expecting it to be $15 to $20 lower year on year on average.
We're looking at this point in time in the short term up to between $85 and $87, but perhaps longer term we could see the oil prices actually weaken, and we wouldn't be too surprised if we saw it between $70 and $80.
Well, moving on from oil prices to gas prices now, on to a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Chairman of the Gas Pricing Committee, Kirit Parikh, is hopeful that the Union Cabinet will clear most recommendations tabled by his panel. Speaking with CNBC-TV18, Parikh said he's against implementing the recommendations or changes retrospectively. Shares of city gas distributors like IGL and Mahanagar Gas slipping in trade today after administered price mechanism. Gas prices were kept unchanged. Take a look.
I've heard from people that yes, the cabinet is considering it. It's likely to be approved, but when it will be is anybody's guess. We have said that by 1st January 2027, everything should be market determined. I'm quite hopeful that it will be accepted.
Well, that's Kirit Parikh there. Moving on to the markets now. Last hour recovery helped Dalal Street end at the day's high. The Nifty and the Sensex ended 0.25% in the green. Financials led from the front, with the Nifty Bank gaining 0.5%. Mid-caps also outperformed the benchmark indices. BSE companies gained a market cap of over 1.5 lakh crore rupees. Prashant is standing by to take us through the market action. Prashant.
Well, decent gains for the market by close. The market started on a positive note, gave up all gains, went into the negative, stayed flat for the bulk of the session, and towards the end, in the last 30 minutes of trade, it picked up again, and we came almost close to where we started. The opening level, that is, the index was short off that level by about 20-30 points. Banks have been the stronger part of the market, and today was no different once again. Bank Nifty ending about 0.5% higher. Now, mid-caps and small caps on Thursday and Friday last week have been doing did very well. Mid-caps were flat, but small caps continued the momentum on the upside, and that's the reason why the broader market advanced decline ratio, etc., was also pretty favorable. Let me come to sectors. Autos did quite well. I'll come to stocks there in a bit. CPSE, the government companies, packed it quite okay. And as I said, both public and private sector banks really stood out. Now, Nifty gains coming through in stocks like Hero, Coal India, Bajaj Auto, Maruti, and Divi's Laboratories. Oil popped up, right? I mean, Sunday evening after that OPEC announcement, this morning we woke up to oil prices up 5%. The oil marketing companies on your screen down as a result. The broader market looking quite okay. RVNL, JBM Auto, Atul Auto, TTK Healthcare, Dhani, Gati, these were some of the volume-led gainers. There were losers as well. KPIT Tech on the back of a brokerage downgrade. SRF was lower. The Adani pack, more down than up today. Adani Green case in point. MGL, Policy Bazaar were a few names. The Nifty, after today's move and the move that we've seen last Thursday and Friday, stands exactly at the 40-day exponential moving average for the Nifty, which is the first level it needs to take out. Tomorrow is a holiday, but remember, global markets are trading, and one can only hope that after the stability that we saw last week, it continues all the way this week as well when we return to trade on Wednesday morning. Back to you.
Prashant, many thanks for joining us and staying with the markets. Foreign portfolio investors turned into net buyers for the first time since December of last year. FPI has invested almost 8,000 crore rupees in Indian equities in the month of March. However, the overall FPI inflow for 2023 still stands at a negative 26,000 crore rupees due to the volatility that we saw in January and February. India's manufacturing sector activity continues to expand for the month of March. The S&P Global Purchasing Managers Index rose to 56.4, higher than 56.3 in February, led by growth in factory orders and higher production. According to the survey, manufacturers are also seeing input cost inflation retreating to the second lowest mark in 2.5 years as the pressure on supply chains subsides and availability of raw materials improves. And on the contrary, China's manufacturing PMI fell to 50 versus 51.4 in February. Meanwhile, the country's services sector expansion has jumped to its highest level in more than a decade to 58.2 in March versus 56.3 in February. Shifting focus now to the auto sector, sales for the month of March have been mixed so far. Maruti recording its highest ever annual sales in FY23 at 19.66 lakh units, while Tata Motors reported flat year-on-year growth. Auto sales in March threw up a mixed bag. As we pointed out, Maruti Suzuki sounded a note of caution, warning of red flags that can impact demand.
I think the growth of 20% plus in next year may not be likely. it's unlikely that we are going to see this type of growth. There are some looming red flags which we are now increasingly monitoring because we believe they could have a negative impact on the overall demand next year. That includes first and foremost the overall economy growth itself. The auto industry growth is very, very highly correlated with the per capita GDP growth.
Well, that's Maruthi. Now, amidst reports suggesting a rise in the cost of essential medicines, the Health Ministry has clarified that there is instead a 6.7% fall in the overall pricing of essential medicines. Remember, the government had prepared a new essential medicine list in 2022, including 870 medicines. So far, the prices of 651 essential medicines have been fixed. Here's a CNBC-TV18 exclusive. Saurav Mishra, the Joint Secretary at the Department of Financial Services, has submitted his resignation, is what we're given to understand. He's looking to join the government's insurance arm. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that Mishra may join the IRDAI's life insurance division as a board member. Remember, this position has been vacant since June of 2022. Yash joins us now with the details. Yash, what are you picking up?
Well, this is a big development for the insurance sector. Saurav Mishra, who's currently the Joint Secretary, Department of Financial Services, he looks at insurance and fintech, according to our sources, has submitted his resignation to the government from this particular position. What we've been given to understand is that the government, as of yet, is yet to accept the resignation coming from Saurav Mishra. As far as this particular move is concerned, beyond this, we've been given to understand that Saurav Mishra could look at joining the insurance regulatory body in the role of member life insurance. Remember, Saurav Mishra has an extensive career from the insurance sector. Before joining the bureaucratic circle also, he was from the insurance sector, from the industry itself. In the bureaucratic circle also, he looked at insurance as a specialized sector, and now going back to Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. What sources tell us is that the current IRDAI chairman, Debashish Panda, has put in a word for Saurav Mishra to the finance minister for him being able to join member life IRDAI. This position, as you rightly pointed out, has been vacant since June 2022. That was after K. Ganesh retired from the position of member life IRDAI. Now, just look at some of the important achievements which Mishra has had in his career in the bureaucratic circle. He was, at the helm on the insurance sector when FDI was raised to 74% in the insurance sector. He drove the KPI-linked profitable growth, managed LIC IPO from the government's point of view, enabled divestment in PSU general insurance companies. Also, capital infusion and draft insurance amendment bill were some of the achievements which he achieved in his tenure as the Joint Secretary of Department of Financial Services.
Yash, many thanks for joining us. Fast food giant McDonald's has temporarily shut its offices in the US as it prepares for layoffs, this as per reports. In an internal email last week, the company has reportedly informed its US and international employees to work from home from Monday to Wednesday. The company also informed its staff to cancel in-person meetings with vendors and outside parties at its headquarters. News publisher The New York Times official Twitter account has lost its verified tick on the social media platform. This after the publisher said it will not pay the site a monthly fee to retain its checkmark. The news organization also added that it was not planning to pay a monthly fee for checkmark status for its institutional Twitter accounts. Twitter had earlier announced that accounts will lose ticks from the 1st of April as it starts to wind down its legacy verified program. We will head into a break, but up next, Jio Cinema reports a blockbuster opening for the Indian Premier League. The app saw more than 5 crore downloads with more than 147 crore video views. That and more when we return. The Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Centre was inaugurated over the weekend in Mumbai. This multidisciplinary cultural space aims to preserve and promote India's art, culture and heritage through varied art forms. Key personalities and stars from across the world attending the grand 3-day opening gala. Shilpa Rani Peta brings you a special report on everything you need to know about the NMACC.
And now, with immense pride and joy, I declare the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Centre open. It is our humble dedication to New India. आज मैं बड़ी विनम्रता से हमारे खूबसूरत देश भारत को यह केंद्र समर्पित कर रही हूँ.
India's biggest ever musical, India in Fashion, an art exhibition featuring over 50 artworks and key personalities from across the world. In a 3-day grand affair, India witnessed the opening of the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Centre, a first-of-its-kind multidisciplinary cultural space in Mumbai aimed at strengthening India's cultural infrastructure and bringing to fruition the best of India and the world in the sphere of art.
For Mukesh and me, the NMACC is a dream come true. For a long time, we had nurtured a dream that India should have a world-class cultural center. We were keen to create a space for promoting and celebrating our artistic and cultural heritage.
The NMACC features a 2,000-seat Grand Theatre, a 250-seat Studio Theatre and a 125-seat Cube. The centre also houses a 4-story visual arts space called the Art House with the idea of hosting exhibits and installations from across India and the world.
A home to art and culture in all its forms. From the visual arts to the performing arts, from musical fountains to musical theatricals, from costume to canvas, from fashion to food, from conventions to celebrations, all under one roof, only at the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Centre.
The opening night saw an extravagant musical directed by Firoz Abbas Khan to showcase India's cultural journey through history. In attendance, along with the Ambani family, were Indian and global celebrities including Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas, among others.
The enormity and to celebrate Indian culture. It's the beginning of something really, really special.
The Ambani family really has their pulse on Indian culture and the pride of being from the country and, you know, for the global Indians specifically as well. So I feel like this is going to be really special.
I was laughing, I was crying. I think you could watch this show 10 times and see something different every time. There's just so much to take in. And also so incredible that you get to learn about Indian history through it.
Over 140 pieces of costumes from iconic brands such as Chanel and Dior and Indian designers like Manish Malhotra, Rahul Mishra, Ritu Kumar, Sabyasachi were showcased on the second opening night. The idea is to document India's impact on global fashion, also showcasing key historic pieces dating as far back as the 18th century.
So I really feel this is going to be like the hotbed of talent, music, art, theatre, everything. And I just can't wait. I just can't wait to see what else we will witness. And spaces like this really kind of enhance and platform artistry.
Anything to do with art and culture, you know, helps in every which way possible to just make, you know, India better and brighter. And I think there are so many young people, they need to be influenced by our culture.
How Indian fashions and our designs and our textiles have, impacted on a very global platform. And I'm very excited to see that because a lot of designers are going to, showcase their talent here.
The 3-day gala concluded with the Art House being inaugurated by Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani. The NMACC opens to the public from April 3 with free access for children, students, senior citizens and the differently abled. The idea, Nita Ambani says, is to make this a space to showcase the best of India to the world and welcome the best of the world to India. In Mumbai, Shilpa Rani Peta.
Jio Cinema reported a blockbuster opening for the Indian Premier League. Sonia standing by now to take us through the key numbers. Sonia.
Oh, it was exceptional in terms of the numbers that Jio Cinemas had to report just in the opening weekend. The stats are looking phenomenal. So here goes. It was bigger than IPL 2022 overall on digital last year. So just the opening weekend had better numbers than all of the IPL last year. 147 crore video views is what Jio Cinema got just in the opening weekend. Now, if you look at it per viewer per match, it was an average of 57 minutes that Jio Cinemas clocked in. And this is almost 70% higher than what we saw in 2022. Apart from that, you had over 5 crore app downloads as well that we saw just in the opening weekend on Jio Cinemas. And over 2.5 crore downloads happened on March 31st, when it was the most installed app on a single day. Now, you had some positive commentary come in from the management as well. Viacom 18 Sports CEO Anil Jairaj said that this is a clear evidence of the digital revolution sweeping through the country. Digital is targetable, addressable and interactive, and not just 5 crore new app downloads. There were over 10 crore new viewers in one single opening weekend. Of course, the numbers are going to get better from here, but this is phenomenal in terms of an opening response to Jio Cinemas. Back to you.
Sonia, many thanks for joining us. Big national story. Congress leader Rahul Gandhi challenges his conviction in a defamation case before a Surat court. The Sessions Court has granted him bail and has set April 13th as the next date for the bail hearing. Gandhi was convicted for his remarks on the Modi surname and was sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. The budget session resumed in Parliament after a 4-day break today. However, the Lok Sabha was adjourned soon after its session resumed after opposition parties staged a protest, reiterating a demand for a joint parliamentary committee probe into the Adani Hindenburg issue. The Parliament has seen opposition MPs wearing black clothes, raising slogans. The Lok Sabha will now resume proceedings on the 5th of April. Key wheat-growing states like Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh and UP are reeling from unseasonal rain since the middle of March. According to the Indian Met Department, rainfall has been more than normal since the start of March. The IMD has further predicted a drier month of April than March, sparking concerns of a delay in harvesting of the Rabi crop, including wheat. In international headlines, the Ukrainian military claims that Russia is very far from the city of Bakhmut. This after a video appeared to show the Wagner mercenary group, which is fighting alongside Russia and Ukraine, raising the Russian flag in the city centre of Bakhmut. The Finnish Conservative leader Petri Orpo has won a nail-biting three-way election race. Orpo defeated Prime Minister Sanna Marin. Orpo said that this was a big victory and a strong mandate for his party's policies. The outgoing Prime Minister Sanna Marin became the world's youngest Prime Minister in 2019 when she assumed office. And with that, it is time for us to wrap up this edition of Business 360. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned to CNBC-TV18. The news continues when we return.